My name is Chuck Bennett, and I weighed 317 pounds before the lap band, and right now I'm sitting at about 212 pounds. Socially, with my weight being so heavy, I would literally be a homebody. I wouldn't, as far as now to then is what I have to compare it to, and I would be with my wife and go to her family and their Hispanic family, and they dress and they their culture and I was like, I don't feel like going to this place in sweatpants or the same shirt or the same pair of pants, and I wouldn't go anywhere. I wouldn't feel like I would fit in. I felt like I would be the center of attention, not because it was a good thing, not because it was a social thing, but because I felt like the elephant in the room, and I was like, I'm not going there. I'm not putting myself in this position. So that's drastically changed. I feel like not only am I the center of attention, but I feel like, well, I look good, and you should be looking at me instead of, looking at him like, oh my God, what's he got in his hand now? I didn't want to have this kind of feeling, when I would go different places. As far as I felt compared to my peers or my family, I felt like I was just extremely bigger than they was, and probably self-consciously I was thinking, oh, they're looking at me, I better not eat this, and then I would eat twice as much before or after I left, and I think that for the most part it's just, you probably do bring that on yourself, but I felt like people were looking at me because I'm a pretty comical guy, I'm humorous, and I think that they would look at me, but I think they were looking at me in terms of, oh man, why does he do that to himself? It was like being a seal at the zoo or something. I felt naked and wet out there, in front of everybody, and now I'm like, look at my shirt, look at my shoes, what I've got going on for myself now, I feel average. I feel normal. I feel like I can go into any event, and not feel too different from somebody else. So if they're looking at me, I'm thinking, go ahead, look at me, see what's going on, I surprise people all the time because in such a short time I've lost the weight. I attribute that a lot to the exercise and being empowered by the band. So when people see me and they haven't seen me for 3 months or 4 months, or I work nights at the hospital, and a lot of the daytime people, they don't see me. And so when they see me, they're like, what's going on with you, man? And I thrive from that, It does give me a big head, but for the most part, it's like, oh yeah, you should do it, you can do this thing. This is very doable. I have almost a 15-year-old daughter. I have a 7-year-old daughter, and I have a 6-year-old son. And before, I would always take them to McDonald's. Before, my 6 and my 7-year-old want me to get in the tubes at the McDonald's, and this was real crazy. And this camera's kind of messing with me, but this is real crazy. I told them when I said, they said, Dad, come play with us in these tubes, and I'm like, I'm not gonna fit in these tubes, man. And their mom's boyfriend, they said, oh, he comes in here all the time, and I'm like, well, he's your size, So we went to Paradise Park. It's kind of like McDonald's is a big play area. And when I'd lost down about 65, 70 pounds, I absolutely tore them up. I wore them out. I was sweating from head to toe, and I was still going. And they're like, oh, we're done, And I'm like, don't be done. We're just getting started, because I was empowered. I hadn't had that activity with my kids, and never with my 15-year-old. Never did I go anywhere, and now she's going to school, and now she's going to be doing proms and, doing things, and, I'm going to be walking her down the aisle one day soon, and I want her to be the focus. I didn't want to be the focus. So, I wanted to be my kids as heroes in their eye, and I certainly didn't feel like it at over 300 pounds. But now, they're going to have to step aside because Dad's coming. My youngest two, they just, my youngest daughter's 7, so she can put her hands around me now, and she's like, Dad, I can touch my fingers, and you can come in the, take me to McDonald's now. You can play in the tube, and it's a good feeling to have your kids be proud of you. was never interested in what I wore, as long as I had the 2 pair of pants and the 3 same black shirts, or the 1 sweater, that was, I was never interested. Me and my wife will go, and I tell her, I joke with her, I say, oh, let's go play dress up. We'll go to Sears or to, the Jones store or somewhere, and, maybe I'm not going to afford those pants, but, or want to, but I'll put them on, and I'm like, wow, this is cool, It's a total new experience. It's a good thing. She thinks I should be Justin Bieber now. She looks at me a whole differently than, can you wear the skinny pants now, Dad? I'm like, no. But they're excited to have me, and I go to the school, and I can sit at the little tables, that they sat at for lunch. Before, I'd have to sit sideways. I couldn't face them, I'd straddle the table, and then still feel like I was halfway, with halfway on the table, halfway off, But now I'm like, sit right there, It's good stuff. Good stuff. I went from size like 46s in pants to now I'm doing like 34s, and so I feel, like I said, there's not a real one word that you can put with the feeling that you get from, being empowered. I got a spouse, and that's one of the things I consistently try to not have a big head about things, not try to push her, but I know I do. But I want to inspire her. I want to encourage her on, doing something that's positive for her life, not necessarily that she needs to lose weight. I think she's beautiful anyway. But I feel like she would be as empowered as I am, with the lap band.